Hello, everyone, and welcome back to this series on the Bhagwad Gita, where we will be beginning from the Shlok 15 of the second Adhyay. Um, and for those people who are a bit confused as to what's going on, please look at the previous videos so that you get some more conceptual clarity. So here we talk about thus far what we have covered is how Arjun had a crisis of conscience on the battlefield and he dropped his arms and felt like he was unable to continue the battle. To that end, Bhagwan Shri Krishna then decided to instruct him and to encourage him and to build his morale in a sense. And his first way of doing that was to tell Arjun that look, whatever you're seeing is not a real death in some sense, that the kith and kin that you might have to fight against and even kill are not truly dying, in the sense that their soul is an immortal entity which will just shed its mortal coil. And in doing the right thing, you should not let happy or sad thoughts distract you in some sense. And Krishna also expands on the nature of consciousness. He talks about how much the same way that seasons such as winter and summer appear in the environment, in a similar way, thoughts appear on the screen of our consciousness. And we often mistakenly assume that our thoughts are who and what we are. Whereas the truth is deeper than that. And the truth is that we never focus on the consciousness, right? And our consciousness is like a blank screen upon which these thoughts appear. And the moment you begin to pay attention to the fact that our consciousness is like in some ways a pond, and much the same way the surface of a pond reflects various images, in the same way our mind tends to reflect certain thoughts, and that's all that there is. And this being mindful of of the true nature of our own consciousness are the first steps towards enlightenment. And here we will expand on that same concept in Shlok 15 of the second Adhyaya of the Bhagavad Gita. Yam hina vyas व्यथयन्ते व्यन्थ्यते पुरुषं पुरुषशर्भ समदुःख सुखम धीरं सोमृत mrutattvaya kalpate. That is, O best amongst men, Arjun, the person who is not disturbed by happiness and distress and is steady in both is certainly eligible for liberation. So, in Hinduism, there is a deep concept, which is that man is trapped in an endless cycle of birth and rebirth. Right? You are born, you die, then you reincarnate, and this cycle continues unabated. However, the true way to break the cycle is to achieve moksha or liberation. And what does that mean? Well, Hindus believe that the soul is trapped in an endless cycle of birth and death. However, our soul or Atma is just one part of the supreme soul or the Param Atma. And moksha is liberation with Param Atma and liberation from the cycle of birth and death. And only enlightened souls who live enlightened lives can achieve moksha. And so this is what Bhagwan Shri Krishna is attempting to tell Arjuna. That in the last video I expanded that how if you truly recognize that your thoughts are like images which appear on the surface of a pond and therefore are not you, then the extent to which your thoughts will disturb you automatically gets minimized. And thus, an enlightened soul who is aware of the in some ways, the ephemeral nature of thoughts is aware of this truth and is able to remain steady. And yeah, such steady people are the prime candidates for enlightenment. नासतो विद्यते भावो ना ना भावो विद्यते सतः उभयोरपि दृष्टोन दृष्टोन्त सत् सत्व नयोस्तत्व दर्शाभि. That is, those who are seers of the truth have concluded that of the non existent, that is, the material body, there is no endurance, and of the eternal, there is no change. They have This they have concluded by studying the nature of both. So essentially, what is saying that those who have knowledge have concluded that our body is impermanent. That our body will perish one day. However, our soul does not perish. Our soul is immortal and indestructible in some sense. अविनाशी तु तद्ध तद्धिधि तद्विद्धि येन सर्वम इदम ततम विनाशम अय्यायस्य न कश्चित कर्तुम अर्हति. That which pervades the entire body you should know to be indestructible. No one is able to destroy that imperishable soul. I think this statement is pretty self-explanatory in my opinion. अंतवंत इमे इमे देहा नित्यस्योक्ता शरीरिणा ऋणः अनाशिनो प्रमेयस्य तस्माद्धुध्यस्व भारत. The material body of the indestructible, immeasurable, and eternal living entity is sure to come to an end. Therefore, fight, O descendant of Bharata. Okay, so again and again, Arjun is being referred to as the son of Bharata. So there was this entity named King Bharat. He's a legendary king of India, and he suggested to have changed the course of a river. And because of this, he's revered in India, and the term Bharat, which is another way of referring to India, which is how Indians refer to India as Bharat, right? This is where that name comes from. So all Indians, in some sense, are the sons or descendants of Bharat, the King Bharat. An equivalent example would be how all Christians are sometimes referred to as the sons of Adam or the daughters of Eve. So again, they're saying that the material that the soul in some ways is that which is eternal, and the body are kind of like clothes. So much the way we change our clothes from time to time, similarly the soul changes material bodies from time to time upon death. य एनं वेक्ति हन्तारं यश्चैनः मन्यते हतम् उभौ तौ न विजानीतो नायं हन्ति न हन्यते. Neither he who thinks the living entity the slayer, nor he who thinks it slain is in knowledge. For the self slays not, nor is slain. So Bhagwan Sri Krishna is talking about the agency of an action. So, for example, if A kills B, then and if A truly believes that he is the slayer, right? And so, in some ways, what he's saying is that the two material bodies are destroying each other, but the souls of both the slayer and the slain remain eternal and indestructible. So this is the principle that is the Bhagwan Shri Krishna is attempting to talk about. न जायते म्रियते वा कदाचि कदाचि नायं भूत्वा भवितः न वा यो भूयः अजो नित्या शाश्वतो यम पुराणो न हन्यते हन्यामणे शरीरे. For the soul, there is neither birth nor death at any time. He has not come into being. He does not come into being and will not come into being. He is unborn, eternal, everlasting, and primeval. He is not slain when the body is slain. So essentially, Bhagavan Shri Krishna is saying that even if you have to kill your loved ones in the path of duty, O Arjun, then you are not truly killing them, because you're just destroying their material bodies maybe, but their eternal souls will continue to exist, because an eternal soul has no creation, nor is it destroyed. It is simply there. It is a part of the divinity or Paramatma or Parabrahma. वेदा विना वेदा विनाशिनः नित्यं य एनमजमव्ययम् कथम सः पुरुषः पार्थ किम घातयति हन्तिकम्. O Partha, how can a person who knows the soul is indestructible, eternal, unborn, and immutable kill anyone or cause anyone to kill? Now I'll end with Arjun's question, where Arjun asks, okay, then Bhagwan Sri Krishna, you say that the soul is eternal, indestructible. But then how can a person who is in that knowledge, who has acquired this knowledge, how will that person be inspired to action? And this is one of those things which I believe truly separates the Bhagavad Gita from other religious texts, because continuously you find Arjun in a way counter questioning Bhagwan Sri Krishna, attempting to understand more, attempting to not exactly disagree with them, but seeking clarification as to exactly what is being said and so on and so forth. And this sort of dialogue is hard to come by in other religious texts. To the best of my knowledge, other religious texts are much more dogmatic, that, okay, God, in his eternal wisdom, has pronounced a sacred commandment, and it is incumbent upon every human being to follow this commandment. And he propagated this commandment through a prophet, and so on and so forth. So this is a very top down kind of approach in other religions, which I find, whereas in the Bhagavad Gita and I find a dialectic in some sense. I find not exactly a debate, but sort of a debate, sort of a counter questioning, clarification seeking attitude, which I think is vital, because if you truly wish to understand something, if you truly wish to understand an idea, then you must grapple with this idea. You must try to wrestle with this idea and try to see if it has any flaws, counter question it. And that is how science progresses. That is how human reason develops. Even if you're wrong, even if you ask stupid questions, this is the birth of reason. So this shlok, this counter questioning, is the birth of reason in Hindu philosophy, in my humble opinion. Thank you. Continue to watch this series on the Bhagavad Gita. Like, share, and subscribe, and let me know your thoughts in the comments. Jai Shri Krishna.